Hello, my dear students. Welcome you to Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be dealing with the zoology section. My dear students, in the previous videos, in the previous lectures, we have started the tetrapods, which belongs to phylum Chordata, and in that too, we are basically dealing with class Amphibia. In amphibians, we are going to start with today the classification. These classifications includes different orders. So now the very first order which we are going to deal with is Gymnophiona. This is Gymnophiona, which is the order also known as Apoda. The body is worm-like, means they belongs to primitive amphibians. So that's why they are known as primitive amphibians who were burrowing in nature, just like resembling some of the fishes. They just give a fact that fishes, when they come to land, they need, they were in a need of burrow or a cave so that they can prevent their body from desiccation, means getting dried up, right? So these amphibians, when they for the first time they evolutionary come to land, they need burrows or a safe place where they can maintain their body moisture, their body humidity, and that is why they need to prevent their body from undergoing desiccation. Their body is limbless, limbs are absent. Ichthyophis, also known as Sicilian, which is limbless blind worm without tongue. Scales are present on the body. It means it shows that Gymnophiona, it was the first or the primitive amphibian order which has just evolved from the fishes because scales are present on the body. So Gymnophiona or Apoda, Apoda means no limbs. No limbs. So their body is worm-like, limbs are absent. Example, Ichthyophis or Sigacylan, limbless blind worm without tongue. It is a limbless blind worm without tongue and scales are present on body. Now coming to next, order Chordata. After Gymnophiona, the order is order Chordata or Urodela. Okay. So this order Chordata or Urodela, it basically involves the amphibians having their body which is distinctly divided into head, trunk, and tail. Okay, so body is divided into head, trunk, and tail. Tail may have caudal fin, so they have caudal fin. Salamander, it is a viviparous amphibian. Its larva is called axolotl. In the previous slide, also I have made you address that axolotl is a larva of salamander. It sometimes show neoteny. Neoteny means it basically shows the longest gestation period, which is around 36 months. Okay, so in case of salamander, the larva is axolotl larva and it shows neoteny. Okay, means it shows the longest gestational period. Understood? Basically, neo means new, means in case of salamander, when axolotl larva it converts into adult, some of the juvenile features they are conserved or retention of the features. Retention of the juvenile features by adult. So in case of salamander, the adult, it represents some juvenile features, right? Means some of the features of the previous stage. And in these organisms, the sexual maturity of the animal basically is found in the larval stage. Okay, so sexual maturity of the animal basically it is found in the larval stage. So in the larval stage only means the axolotl larva, it undergoes sexual maturity, right? It shows the longest gestational period around 36 months, right? The neoteny is clear. Neoteny means retention of the juvenile features by adult. Okay. In case of axolotl larva, it shows the sexual maturity. Proteus, also known as cave, it's a salamander, blind salamander. Okay, without eyes. Ambiostoma, it is a tiger salamander having axolotl larva. Triton, it is newt. Nectarus, also known as water dog or mud puppy. Gills in adult also. Gills are present in case of Nectarus, which is known as water dog or mud puppy. It shows permanent neoteny. Means the adult, it shows all the features of the larval stage of the juvenile phase, right? Amphuma. Amphuma is the Congo eel having the largest RBC, which is present in case of Congo eel, Amphuma. Siren is known as mud eel. Cryptobranchus, it is hellbender, the largest amphibian fully aquatic. The largest amphibian is Cryptobranchus. Okay. Then Nectarus, it is known as what? Water dog or mud puppy. Gills are present in the adult also. It shows permanent neoteny. Okay. It shows what? Permanent neoteny. Understood? Now coming to next is what exactly the next slide says. Amphibians, they don't have scales, their skin is moist and smooth, and they have n number of mucus glands which are found in skin. Okay, these are some common amphibians. So you can note down here, they have numerous mucus glands. Okay, and scales are absent. Right? They show when they show cutaneous respiration, mean they respire through moist skin. So most of the amphibians they show cutaneous respiration, means that is they respire through moist skin. Now coming to next slide, this is order Anura or Silentia. Okay, they are specific animals where tail is absent in adult stage. In adult stage, tail is absent. All the frogs and toads they are included in this order. Frogs and toads they belong to Anura or Silentia. Salamander, it belongs to the order Chordata. Okay. Vertebral column is small in case of Anura or Silentia, in which only 5 to 9 vertebrae are found. Last vertebrae is stick like and known as what? Urostyle. The last vertebrae is like a stick and it is known as what? Urostyle. Urostyle. Okay. The last vertebrae is known as urostyle, 5 to 9 pair of vertebrae, 5 to 9 vertebrae, sorry. Vertebral column is very small. Eyes, they are having lid, means a covering. They have tear glands, means the lacrimal glands. Lacrimal glands. Lower lid is movable, while the upper lid is immovable. Means the lower lid eyelid is movable and the upper lid is immovable. Okay. Maxillary teeth are present in the upper jaw, absent in toad. In toad, maxillary teeth are absent. In toad, maxillary teeth are absent. Middle ear and tympanic membrane is present. In order Anura or Salentia, middle ear and tympanic membrane is present. Examples are bufo, known as common toad. Poison glands are modifications of parotid gland. You have to just notice that in case of common toad, bufo, the poison glands, they are the modification of parotid gland. Now, coming to next, hyla, also known as tree frog. Hyla is also known as tree frog. Tree frog. Right? Next, Rana tigrina. Okay, Rana tigrina. It is Indian bullfrog. It is written as Rana tigrina. Indian bullfrog. It is having a mentomechanical bone which is found at the tip of the lower jaw. In case of Rana tigrina, there is a presence of mentomechanical bone which is present at the tip of the lower jaw. Rhacophorus is a flying frog. Rhacophorus is the flying frog. Bufo is the common toad having poison glands, which are the modifications of parotid gland. Hyla, tree frog. Rana tigrina, Indian bullfrog. Okay. Aletus, it is a midwife toad. Parental care is well developed in Aletus, midwife toad. Male toads carry eggs in their limbs. So male toads, they carry eggs in their limbs. In case of Aletus, midwife toad. Pipa americana, it is known as Surium toad. Okay, Pipa americana, Surinam toad, sorry, means they carry eggs on their back, shows secondary vivipary. Okay, tongues are absent. Pipa americana, tongues are absent, shows secondary vivipary, means parental care. Okay, and they are known as Surinam toads. Okay, Rana Goliath, largest frog. Phylobats, it's important, smallest frog found in Cuba, Phylobats. So you have to remember the names. Phylobats, the smallest frog, Rana Goliath, the largest frog, Pipa americana, Suriname toad, okay. Then Aletus, the midwife toad, okay, where male toads carry egg in their limbs, okay. Then Rana tigrina, Indian bullfrog, mentomechanical bone is present. Rhacophorus, flying frog, Bufo, common toad. Okay. Discoglossus or Bombinator, fire-bellied toad. The toad is having fire belly. On the belly portion, it is having some colorful stripes which gives the appearance of a fire. 2. For the offense and defense. Xenopus is African toad. Okay. Pedogenesis. Pedogenesis is the formation or the development of gonads or production of young ones by immature or larval ones. So pedogenesis means pedo means small. Okay. So the larva forms, they become sexually mature. That is why the term neoteny is given. So in case of axolotl larva, in case of salamander, the sexual maturity attains in larval stage only, and that is why they can give rise to young ones, as salamander is a viviparous. Okay. So that's why the gonads, they develop in the larval forms. Okay. So this is known as pedogenesis. Okay. Salamander, axolotl larva also shows neoteny, retention of the juvenile features. Okay. Understood? So these are some common, amphibians you have to remember. Cimmeria. Cimmeria is a connecting link between amphibia and reptiles. So please remember this term. Cimmeria is a connecting link between amphibian and reptiles. Right? Now coming to next, total neoteny is shown by Nectarus. Total neoteny is shown by Nectarus, Siren and Proteus. So Proteus, Nectarus, and Siren. Okay, NPS. Nectarus, Proteus, and Siren, they show total neoteny. Mean 100% retention of the juvenile characters. The skin of the tadpole also secretes an enzyme diastase. The skin of the tadpole also secretes an enzyme diastase. Okay. External ears are absent, only tympanum is present. External ears are absent in case of frog, toads, amphibians, only tympanum is present. Frogs have tympanic membrane on the surface of both sides of their head. The tympanic membrane of a human called eardrums, and each is protected inside ear canal. Okay, so tympanic membrane is present in frog just like humans. Some frogs develop an amazing way which does not allow their eggs from dying out. The female Suriname toad of South America carries her eggs in the back skin pits. There are some pits which are present on the back side of the skin, means on the dorsal side. Around 40 to 50, 60 pockets are there. 60 young ones grow from the tadpole stage. 60 young ones grow from the tadpole stage, still embedded in the back, and then emerge as a small frogs. So around 60 young ones, they grow from the tadpole stage, but they remain there and they come as small frogs. The upper jaw of the frog is derived from quadrate cartilage. This is an important point. The upper jaw is derived from quadrate cartilage, whereas the lower jaw is derived from Meckel's cartilage. So in case of frog, the upper jaw derives from quadrate cartilage and the lower jaw from Meckel's cartilage. Okay, upper jaw quadrate, lower jaw Meckel's. First toe is called hallux. The first toe in case of frog, it is known as what? Hallux. Jaw suspension is autostylic. Urostyle is the last vertebrae, which is stick shape. The shape of the second to seventh vertebrae is procellus, typical procellus. Okay, I have shown different types of vertebrae. Okay, 8th vertebrae is amphicoelus, 9th vertebrae is acoelus. Okay, so 9th is acoelus, 8th vertebrae is amphicoelus, and the second to 7th vertebrae, which are typical vertebrae, they are procellus. Okay, I'll show you once again. Yeah. So procellus mean the typical vertebrae till 7th vertebrae, they are typical vertebrae which are procellus. The 9th vertebrae is acoelus. Okay. The 8th vertebrae is amphicoelus. Okay. So please remember. The first toe is known as what? Hallux. Jaw suspension is autostylic. Urostyle is the last vertebral component. Vertebral component is short, 5 to 7 vertebrae only. In case of the previous order, we have registered, okay, in order Anura. Okay. Amphineuma. Amphineuma is the largest RBC among vertebrates. Congo eel. Blind worms, limbless amphibians, the first order, Apoda, are unusual amphibians as only species live in water. All the other burrow underground and are rarely seen on the surface. They mainly live in water, as I have already explained. Carboniferous period is known as age of amphibians. Devonian period is for fishes and Carboniferous period is for amphibians. Arrow poison frogs secrete a powerful poison from the skin which can use or which can cause instant death. Okay. The arrows previously they were used to dip in this poison, okay, which was secreted by poison frogs. Okay. The most poisonous frog is golden dart. Golden dart, poison frog from South America. One adult frog contains enough poison to kill 200 people. Okay. So you have to remember golden dart is the most poisonous frog. Then order Apoda or Gymnophiona basically consists of blind worms. Okay. Then total neoteny is shown by Nectarus, Propterus, and Sirena. So Nectarus, Proteus, and Sirena, they show total neoteny. Partial nudity is also shown by exodotal larva of salamander. Okay. External ears are absent, only tympanum are present, skin is moist and having n number of mucus glands, right? In case of amphibians, the limbs, there are two pair of limbs, four limbs which are having four fingers and the hind limbs have five fingers. I already told you when I just have gone through the general characteristics. In case of jaws and teeth, teeth are pleurodont type, homodont type and polybiodont type, already explained. Okay. RBCs are biconvex, oval or nucleated. So everything is being explained. Okay. Just go through the previous slides. I'll show you where you will find the general characteristics. These are the general characteristics, right, of amphibians. Okay. Everything is mentioned here. Now coming to next is, so this is what about amphibians is. Please go through the, please go through every video because every video is having, a different phylum or a different class or a order. So to maintain the connectivity so that you can be in a touch of the topic always, please go through the previous videos. Okay. So our amphibians, the class amphibia is completed. In class amphibians, the main features that we actually address is the presence of moist skin, mucus glands, poisonous glands. In case of poisonous glands, the parotid gland basically gets modified to form a poisonous gland. Okay. Then the quadrate cartilage and the Merkel's cartilage. That point means the upper jaw is a modified quadrate cartilage. It derived from quadrate cartilage and the lower jaw from Merkel's cartilage. Okay. The skin of the tadpole secretes an enzyme diastase, and especially the countries which are using or which are having the wet markets like China, they basically use these secretions from, especially the amphibian secretion, to maintain the blood pressure. Okay, because those secretions basically help to maintain the blood pressure as well. Okay, understood? So please go through the previous videos, and now we are going to start with the class Reptilia. Class Reptilia, see, the basic difference between amphibians and reptiles is that amphibians, they have just evolved from the what should I say, the fishes, and that is why their skin needs to be moistened always, because now they are breathing in the atmospheric oxygen which is very dry. So that is why they have the mucus glands which helps to lubricate their body, okay, to maintain the exact or body moisture, okay, so that they can be prevented by the desiccation. Okay, understood? So amphibians, their skin, they are used by different, countries to maintain different, as a disease causing substrate, or it can be used as a medicine as well. Okay. Now, class B is Reptilia. Reptiles. Please remember the age or the era during which these organisms, they came into existence and they dominate. Like Devonian period of fishes, Carboniferous period of amphibians, and Mesozoic era is the golden age of reptilians. Mesozoic era. The branch of biology which deals with the study of reptiles is known as what? Herpetology. Okay, herpetology. This is the branch. The study of fish is known as what? Ichthyology. Okay. The study of stingray is known as what? Torpedology. Okay. Now, the next point, class Reptilia animals, they are the first successful terrestrial animals because now their skin is dry. Okay, their skin is dry, and that is why they come up with, dry scales, or the mucus glands are either absent or partially present. Okay, so first reptiles, they are called the stem reptiles or cotylosaurs. Cotylosaurs. The first reptiles who emerged, they are known as what? The stem reptiles or the cotylosaurs. Class name referred to creeping or crawling. They are mainly known because of their crawling behavior. They basically crawl and creep. So they are creeping and crawling behavior. Okay. For locomotion, general characters are they are mostly terrestrial animals, but some animals are aquatic in nature also. Body is divided into head, neck, and trunk and tail. Amphibians, they were having head, trunk, and tail. No neck was there. Reptilians, they have head, neck, trunk, and tail. Their skin is dry, cornified, rough, non-glandular, non-glandular, femoral gland in male lizard. Okay, their skin is dry, cornified, and they are non-glandular skin. Means, but in case of male lizard, there is a presence of femoral gland. Snakes and lizard, they shed their scales, known as what? The process of molding or ichthyosis. ECTHY, ichthyosis. Okay, so ichthyosis is the process of shedding their scales by snakes and lizards, skin molding. In these animals, each limb has 5 digits. In case of amphibians, the forelimb was having 4 digits and the hind limb was having 5 digits. Here, each limb is at 5 digits, whether it is a forelimb or a hind limb. Each digit has a incurved nails. Nails were absent, claws were absent in amphibians. But in case of reptilians, the claws and nails are present. Okay. Incurved tails like this. Okay. So incurved. Their exoskeleton is made up of horny epidermal scales or bony scutes or bony plates. The reptilians, their skin is made up of horny epidermal scales or bony scutes or bony plates. A complete alimentary canal is found in these animals, which opens into cloaca. A complete alimentary canal is found in these animals, which opens into cloaca, means which receives the different openings. Either in case of fishes and amphibians, you got to know about that the cloaca basically it receives the opening of genital apertures or the alimentary canal or the urinary tract. Okay, so a complete alimentary canal is found in these animals, which opens into cloaca. Teeth are homodont, polyphyodont, and mostly pleurodont. Same in case of amphibians. Respiration in these animals is by lungs, okay, throughout life. In these animals, heart is incompletely four-chambered, but is four-chambered in case of crocodiles. Okay, in NCRT it is mentioned three-chambered. So you have to stick to NCRT. That reptilians they have three-chambered heart. Okay, but in case of crocodile, the heart is four-chambered because of the large surface area and body needs to increase its cardiac output. Okay, so in order to increase cardiac output, now right and left both systemic arches are present. Systemic arches means they are basically mentioning about for the systemic circulation, the whole body circulation. So right and left both systemic arches means that the body is being supplied by the blood from both the arches, systemic arches. Okay, so in crocodile only the right and left both systemic arches are present to increase the cardiac output. Sinus venosus is ill developed because now the heart is undergoing the process of making the chambers, and that is why the sinus venosus is ill developed. Truncus arteriosus is absent. Truncus arteriosus is absent. Okay, understood? So these were some common points of reptilians, and you have to remember that Mesozoic era is the golden age of reptile. The study of reptiles is known as what? Herpetology. Okay. Now, they have dried and cornified skin. Glands are absent. Male lizard, she's having, oh sorry, it is having the femoral gland. Okay. Snakes and lizard, they undergo the process of the skin shedding, that is known as what, ichthyosis or skin molding. Understood? Now, next is that these animals, they are basically having the ill-developed sinus venosus, truncus arteriosus is absent. The heart is three-chambered or incompletely four-chambered, but in case of crocodile, it is four-chambered. Okay, to increase the cardiac output. They have 5 digits in both the limbs, means the forelimb as well as the hind limbs. Okay, the body is divided into head, neck, trunk, and tail. Now coming to next, in case of amphibians, truncus arteriosus was present. Truncus arteriosus basically it signifies or tells us that both right and left ventricle, they come up with same blood vessel, means it is having a mixing of blood, and that is why amphibians, fishes, they have mixing of blood. That mixing of blood is basically because of the presence of only one vessel which is coming from both right and left auricle, ventricle, sorry. Okay, right ventricle means the pulmonary artery and the left ventricle means the aorta. Okay, in case of humans, especially when we talk about the congenital heart diseases, CHD, truncus arteriosus may be present. So in case of humans, it is considered as a congenital problem, disorder. Okay. Now coming to next slide, they have only one condyle. Skull is monocondylic. In case of the previous classes like amphibians and especially the fishes, they were having dicondylic skull. Okay. Fishes, they were having dicondylic skull. Okay. I'll just make you remember this point as well so that you couldn't confuse. Is it mentioned? Yeah. Skull has two occipital condyles. Okay, dicondylic. Skull is monocondylic in case of reptiles. Ribs are present in the neck and thorax region to make a thoracic cage. Ribs of thoracic region make true sternum. But in case of amphibians or fishes, some of the ribs, they don't attach to the sternum, that were floating ribs. We do have floating ribs, humans also, the 11th rib and the 12th rib. So in case of humans, 11th rib and the 12th rib, they are floating ribs. Centrum of the vertebrae is procellustine. In case of amphibians, you got to know that the typical first 7 vertebrae, they were of which type? Procellus. The last vertebrae was acellus, and the last vertebrae gets modified to form a stick-shaped structure known as what? Urostyle. Okay. Here, in case of reptiles, the centrum of the vertebrae is procellustine. A chevron bone is found in caudal vertebrae of these animals. So the caudal vertebrae of these animals consist of chevron bone. They do not have external ear opening, means the external ear opening or external auditory meatus or the pinna is absent. Tympanum represents the ear. In case of reptiles, there is no external auditory meatus, no external ear. Tympanum represents the ear. One pair of metanephric kidneys help in excretion. In case of the fishes, the kidneys were type of either mesonephric or some In case of cartilaginous fishes were metanephric, they can store or they can retain the urea. In case of amphibians, the kidneys they were either mesonephric or opisthonephric, but in case of reptiles, the kidneys are metanephric types. Okay, when they maintain high amount of uh, concentration of urine. Okay, these animals are uricotelic. They excrete uric acid. As uric acid is dry, so it lead to conservation of water. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. In case of fishes, there were 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, so just these, why I am telling this just to differentiate. Okay, understood? Now coming to next is at the roof means the ceiling of the buccal cavity where you are having a palate. Jackson's organ, which is olfactory, means for smell. Okay, so presence of Jacobson's organ means which is meant for the olfactory stimuli, that is smell, is present on the roof or the ceiling of the buccal cavity. Okay, Jacobson's organ. Okay, genital aperture is not separate from the anus. So genital aperture is not separate. Same opening for urination as far as the genital openings. Ureters, genital ducts, and alimentary canal open into a single cloacal aperture. So they are also receiving, the cloaca also receiving the urinary tract system. Okay, along with the genital openings, it is also receiving the urinary tract opening. These are unisexual, means they are monoecious, sexual dimorphism. Fertilization is internal, one or two penis. That is why it is known as what hemipenis. Okay, is found in male animals as copulatory organ. These are mostly oviparous, egg laying, but some animals are viviparous. Okay, embryonic membranes like amnion, they reptiles come under the uh, category of amniotes, means they are having extra embryonic coeloms and membranes. Okay, the embryonic membranes like amnion, chorion, allantoin, and yolk sac is present in the embryo. So this class is grouped under amniota. Fishes and amphibians and amniotes. Eggs are megalicythal, Lecithal. Megalicythal means large amount of yolk, and cleoidic. Okay, so that eggs are megalicythal, large amount of yolk is there, and cleoidic eggs are there. Eggs are covered with a shell. These eggs are known as what? Cleoidic eggs, which are covered with a calcium carbonate shell. Okay, the cleoidic eggs. This is cleoidic. Cleoidic eggs is an adaptation for the terrestrial habitat. Okay, eggs are leathery. They are basically covered with a shell. Okay, and eggs are leathery in appearance. Development is direct, larval stage is absent, no larval stage as you have seen in case of amphibians and fishes. Parental care is often marked. These are cold-blooded poikilothermal animals. They are cold-blooded poikilothermal animals. That body temperature varies according to the climate. Class Reptilia is classified on the basis of presence or absence of temporal foci in the temporal region. Temporal region means the part where they are going to sense the vibrations. The presence or absence of temporal foci in the temporal region of skull, and their number helps to categorize them, helps to classify them. Okay. So in case of fishes as well as amphibians, the larval stages were very reduced. Okay, I mean mostly their development is direct as well. Okay, but in case of reptiles, almost all they are having that direct development. Okay, so what you have to remember, the Jacobson's organ, okay, which is olfactory in smell, olfactory in nature for smell. They have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, rather when we talk about the fishes and the early amphibians, they are having the 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, external ear is absent. Tympanum is only the ear or the part of the ear which is present. Chevron bone is found in the caudal vertebrae of these animals. Centrum is procellus type, while amphibians they have procellus, amphicellus, and acellus type, all the types. Okay. Ribs of the thoracic region make true sternum in where ribs are going to attach. Okay. Their eggs are megalocythal and pleoidic eggs, means they are covered by a shell of calcium carbonate. So my dear students, this is the general characteristics of reptiles. We will be discussing more characters of the reptiles with the subclasses in the next lecture. Till then, go through my all the videos to have a better connect for the coming videos as well. Stay on revising again and again. Stay safe. Stay at home. Bye bye. Take care.